Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a quick 10-minute or so exercise on InDesign just to refresh our memories on our soapbox project. First, we are going to open our InDesign file. Once we're working in InDesign, we have an InDesign file. I'm going to click my most recent file and open it. This should look familiar. This is your sandwich. Let's turn everything off and build the project. We have our template base layer locked. I'm going to bring these layers over so you can see them. We have our image files on one layer. We also have our barcodes and nutritional facts on another layer, so we have the ability to manipulate them individually. Our file also had a blank color layer in order to reveal our top of the sandwich layer, which is our reverse mask, on and off. We can eliminate this file now that we know how our file is working. If we need to see our guides, we can go to our base layer, unlock it, and we can reduce the transparency just so we can see. Make sure you have an active layer. Click and select, reduce. Now I'm able to see that I am within my guides. It is important to check to make sure that you are within your guides. I need you to look at my file and realize that it is set up for proper trim. My colors end on folds. It is intentional. It is color to color, not color to white. We do not want to reveal white at any point. So please make sure your graphics are fitting within the folds and cut marks of your box. I'm going to bring my transparency back so I can see my design. Again, I'm going to lock all of my layers so nothing moves. And now I can begin the typography for my soapbox project. Once we're confident that we have a nice front, rear, and two side panels, we have to finish the infographic aspect of our design. Type is very important. We are going to need to create a new layer. I'm going to make sure this layer is above all images. If you're not sure, click to view. Layer 5 is going to be my type layer. I am going to call it type. We talked about naming layers. It's going to get more and more important to you as we move forward. Let's do a quick lesson on typesetting. I'm going to zoom in on the area that I have allocated for my type. Clean, open, undisturbed by image. Please understand the relationship between type and image. You do not see type overlaying image, creating confusion or tension. Your graphics have to be designed in a way that your typography is legible. Create hierarchy. This soap, again, being a bit of a prank project, is called jet lag. It is supposed to help you with jet lag. After a long trip, this soap is piping hot and makes you feel good. It's made up, but that's what's fun. Now, let's zoom in on our area so we can really see what we're working on. Do not place text on or close to a fold or trim line. Please make sure you have at least 1/8 of an inch, if not more, boundary or margin away from your type. What I would do is drag a guideline to create a margin in a designated area. I'm going to use approximately 1/8 of an inch. I now have a parameter to follow to not place my text outside of this area. I'm going to grab my type tool. I'm going to come over, click and drag an ice box. I like to have my caps lock on because I'm creating a title. And I am just going to create some typography, excuse me, folks, some typography for our project. Let's call this Soapbox Design. Let's highlight our text. Let's look at it for a second. It is black, it is blah, it is bland, and it is also a serif font. I cannot stress enough. We do not typically use serif fonts in graphics. Please look to the left at the graphics that I've chosen off the internet. No serif fonts. No serif fonts. No, sorry folks, no serif fonts. One more time, no serif fonts. Guys, the reason we don't use them is because they look like legal documents or medical journals. They're not creative. We need to get creative with our type. There's a time and a place for a serif font. Yes, it is appropriate in certain design, but it must be very specifically called out. So, let's get back to it. Double click, triple click, select it all. I'm going to convert my type to white because it is more appropriate for my layout. We can now see it. I am also going to go into my font menu. I'm going to drop down and look how cool all of my fonts show up in the appropriate font style in the dialog box. I can quickly scroll through and decide on an option. It might not be permanent, but it's going to give me a good start. I like nice, clean fonts. One of my favorite fonts is Avner. It is a very modern, it is very clean, and it is a very appropriate font. Very similar to one that's already in the design. If I deselect, it already is starting to look more appropriate. Let's make sure our words are spelled correctly. Soapbox Design. This is where typography gets interesting. We need to edit this font. We need to select the font. We need to adjust its size. We can do that by changing the point value. It is not easy to do it by just clicking the point value. We might find that clicking up and down on the positive and negative will give us the appropriate size. I can scale it. I want Soapbox to fit accordingly across the top. Now I realize that my box is not big enough. This little white box with the red marks in it tells you that you're missing text. There it is. Okay, now this is where I need you guys to really pay attention. We have this new dialog box. It is called the character box. Very, very important is unification and legibility. This is left justified. We have a gap here. It looks a little uneven, unbalanced. Look, our graphics are centered and balanced from side to side. We need to create that type of hierarchy. So we can, again, 1, 2, 3, or once we're on 2 lines, just click and select all from the back. At the top of your InDesign menu, you will see 100 different type options. We are clicked on left justify. We can click on center justify. We can click on right justify. We have these options. Please use them. We also have justify to all sides. which spreads the font out automatically and spaces it evenly in the box. Very, very helpful tool. But if that doesn't work, we can keep it left justified. We can deselect. We can select just the word that's in question. And we can now use our character box to do something very cool, which is track the distance between the letters in our font. In this menu, you will notice a VA and arrows that go from left to right. They are talking about the spacing between the letters. It is called tracking. We can slowly increase the tracking to create the left to right justification. This is critical in design balance. Deselect, and now we have a centered font. I would like to see it a little bit more. I'm going to go over to my type menu and find a nice, thick, heavy version. Because of the thickness, we now see that it changes the scale and changes the justification. So we need to click in that font, make sure we hit return, and realize that soapbox is not going to fit on the line. Select, point by point, decrease the font until it returns. Now it fits, but design is a little short. Click our tracking until it meets the edge, deselect, and now we have a justified left and right, bold face, clean sans serif font, ready for our design. We have a title, we have hierarchy, we have something visually stimulating and attracting to draw our eye in. Let's create a second level. I'll start by copying and pasting. Command C, Command V. Why not? It gives you everything that you had before, so you don't have to start from scratch. Grab your type tool, select in the box, select your font, and because this is a subtitle, we want to say the soap that heals. Maybe this is not in capitals. Turn off our caps lock. The soap that heals. Now again, we are still using a bold, large scale font. So we need to select. We need to go up under our type menu. Maybe we should have it in a light font. We also want this to be justified appropriately, not left. We want to match the top. So we're going to justify it. Oof, that doesn't look good. So we're going to do it ourselves. Watch this. Take the first row. Let's track that font evenly. One step tells you. There it goes. Let's track the bottom. There it goes. There you have it. Let's decrease the size a bit because it's a bit large. We want hierarchy. We want our secondary font to be smaller than our main. But yes, it does then spoil that tracking. Go back. Increase again. Do it individually because every line of type is going to have different numbers of characters and different needs for justification. There we have it. This is how you adjust type in order to create a balanced layout. I'm going to move this character out of the way. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to move my box. I'm going to study it. I am going to view. I am going to hide my frame edges. I am also going to view guides and grids, hide my guides and grids so I can see my clean box design. Here we have hierarchy, soapbox design. My eyes see that first. Secondary, the soap that heals. Visually simple, stimulating, and legible. And there you have it, guys, a short, quick lesson on basic typesetting. Good luck. Have at it, guys. Make sure you save your file. Make sure it is an InDesign file. I always hit save as. If it's been a while, then double check. Yes, this is my file. Yes, this is everything I'm working on. So I want to hit save. It needs to say replace because you're saving over your file. It is okay. You're just checking. If you want to give it another name like version 2, V2, make sure format is still on InDesign. There's nothing wrong with creating multiple versions of your file. This way you can go back and see the different levels. Make sure it's in the appropriate folder and hit save. And there you have it, guys. Now you have a version 2 with a new typeset ready for production. Thank you and have a great day.